To a Nerds podcast. All things nerds, music, horror movies, pro wrestling, video games, anything nerds would like.
Once again, back with another episode of a Nerds podcast. Today, have a lovely lady and with me today. Is it Jessie Wilcox? Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. My podcast is basically called Nerds Podcast. It's a podcast for nerds like, if you like movies, music, pro wrestling, anything nerds, comic books, anything nerds will vacate to. You don't got to be a nerd to enjoy it. It's just mainly nerds may vacate to it. So, you're a musician, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So, how did you get started? Like, are you a trained musician that you train in school? That you have classically trained? How did you get started? Doing music in general.
I'm not trained. I have no training. I just kind of do this because it helps me with my depression.
Okay.
And yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something if something helps you, that makes you better, and it helps you going through your struggles, whatnot. I think that's a good thing. People need stuff to basically get themselves out there, or if you're struggling, whatever ailment you're struggling with, you can find a venue to basically help you. That's very important, and I think it's very important. I commend you that if this helps you and helps you to make you at least feel better, I think it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Now, how long have you been doing music?
Since I was a child, my entire family is musical.
Okay.
I grew up singing in church with my sisters. My grandmother played the guitar. She was even on the radio one time.
Okay, that's all right. I like that. Now, when you were a kid, what kind of music you listened to as a kid that you enjoyed?
I don't know. Like, when I was really young, it was pretty much gospel and country.
Okay.
And then when I grew up into my teens, I got into, rock and then heavy metal, and I'm pretty, well-balanced. I like everything.
That's cool, though. I mean, it's good to have a wide variety of music to listen to, because I always say this, and I always mention this because the band Slayer, the lead singer Tom Araya, in an interview in Metal Maniacs, the guy asked him what music he listened to. He said he listened to Peter Gabriel, and I listened to African kind of drums and stuff. So it always surprised me that he didn't. But if you're a true, musician and you listen to music, you're gonna look to many venues that kind of interest you. It's not gonna be what you normally play all the time. You'll listen to anything. So that's cool.
Yeah, I listen to Selena. I don't know Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to Selena.
That's
I
okay.
love her music.
I don't think she spoke Spanish in the beginning anyway. At least if the story of her upbringing, because I think she grew up in Texas or Los Angeles, and when she got older, she basically started singing songs in Spanish, but she didn't have she was Mexican American, but she didn't have a understanding of full knowledge of, she didn't fully speak Spanish. Yeah. She sung the songs, but she didn't fully speak Spanish, so it's not there's bands who sing in Spanish that I have no clue what they're saying, but I still like the songs.
Yes.
So you can appreciate anything. You can appreciate any types of music, and full disclosure, I have no talent whatsoever. I have no talent in music. I have nothing like that. I cannot sing, can't really dance. I have no, and I'm not saying this. I'm saying this because I always appreciate people who can play music. People who can play music. People who has aspirations and basically work hard to make it happen, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to be able to do it. To come off the top of your head and sing songs and write lyrics and stuff, that's not an easy task. And I like your music, and I looked you up on Facebook, and I was just and Twitter is harder because people don't really respond. So I appreciate the fact that you were nice enough to let me interview you off the hand, and I'm a person who like I just started doing podcasts like 7 months ago,
Mhm.
and all my podcasts are not that very good, but it's all good. I'm not complaining. You know, it's baby steps. You got to get better.
Yes.
So, so it's not like I'm not saying, oh, woe is me. I suck. I'm of course gonna suck. You know, talking to yourself on microphone by yourself and thinking of topics. It's not impossible, but it's hard because you're not used to doing it. And this helps me. This helps with my anxiety and stuff.
So awesome.
I'm not comparing to you because I know if you're dealing with depression, I'm not even going to be arrogant enough to say that I'm dealing with the same thing, but I do deal with angst and I'm nervous and insecurity. But when I started doing the podcast, I realized that a lot of stuff was built up inside that needed to come out, and doing
Mhm.
this was very helpful. So, I in some way I can feel you, but I'm not going to be arrogant to say like I'm in the same boat because that's nonsense. I would never say that. I find it would be disingenuous.
Well, I think that we are all dealing with a bit of depression and anxiety. It's a spectrum, and like you can't discount someone else's feelings.
Yeah.
I see those posts a lot, like stop saying that you have this.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like we all have it.
Yeah. I think the I think with depression is I think the problem with is like depression makes you feel alone around groups of people. You can
Mhm.
actually feel alone. It's a vibe that you're going through something, and people who deal through depression, and I'm not a doctor. I'm going to say it offhand. I'm not. This is not me saying something. I'm talking out my ass at some point. I'm not educated, but my mom had gone through depression. She's dealt with depression her entire life, and I don't mind saying this because my mom is better and she's doing a lot better than she was. But there was a point that was very scary where
Mhm.
I think it was at work, and my one of my mom's friends had called me, and I didn't know who she was. She goes to church, and I didn't know who this was. So I get this text, and the text says, says she's in the hospital. I'm thinking, I hope this is the wrong text. Then it says your mom's okay. I'm like, I called her, and she said your mom's, she sent herself to like the mental ward in the hospital. I said, and I couldn't get information because if you admit yourself in the hospital,
Mhm.
they don't let you contact people unless they have permission by you because
Oh
I don't.
wow.
Yeah, it's a cluster. I don't know, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but like I'm quick at telling real story real fast. But like it was 3 days up until the time I finally got in touch with her, and then like it's like went to this hospital, and the hospital was like it looks like a college because it's like an old fashioned hospital. So I'm going around. I couldn't find anything. I had to call people, and I finally got into the ward part of it where she was sitting, and I went in there and I asked her if she's okay, and that's when I burst into tears and I started crying. And they're like, please don't give up. Just I don't even know what I was saying. Like
Yeah.
when you're so distraught that your words don't make any sense. Yeah, I have no clue what I was saying that day, but I was just talking nonsense, and I was like, please, whatever I do. So through that I can understand, and I hope I'm not saying you. I'm just hoping if anyone's going through depression, I hope they can at least find some sort of venue to not give up because it's very easy.
Yes.
It sucks. It sucks so much to because like when you're suffering like that, no one sees it but you. No one can really tell. It's you can put that mask on, and be smiling all the time, like I'm doing pretty good. It's a really pretty good day. I'm going through, but
Mhm.
unless you vocalize, and I understand. Here's the thing: I know people are uncomfortable. They don't really want to hear that you're going through something because they're probably going through something. And some people are pricks. Oh wait,
Yeah.
what's the big deal? What do you mean depressed? What does that mean? Like you're an asshole, and you don't realize that some people's words can be cutting deep. They can be condescending. That's why people should not. Don't go on Facebook. You need to tell your real friends you're
Yes.
going through something. Do not go on Facebook. And I know it's addicting to say. I'm saying this. I'm well aware I'm being a gigantic dick, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. But
Mhm.
when you go on Facebook or you go on any social media, I'm being a little bit of an asshole, and I'm gonna say it out loud. I'm being a little bit of an asshole. Part of you is subject to get criticized, and it's not fair. But I'd rather people talk to their real friends first.
And definitely talk to a therapist. Like
yes.
I need to take my own advice here, but you need to talk to a therapist and get a professional to help you. Everybody needs help.
Yes.
And there's no shame in seeking that help for your brain because it is part of your body and it shouldn't be treated differently.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm sorry to get off on a tangent. I'm off my soapbox. I don't like getting all self-righteous and rambling and like that because I don't know what I'm talking about. If I was even though I deal with insecurities and I deal with my own situation, I will never say that I'm educated in any of that. That's nonsense. But but back to music. What music do you listen to now? Do you enjoy listening to?
Right now it's pretty much like rap and R&B and stuff.
Okay.
Like I'm all over the place, so I switch back and forth. It depends on how I feel.
Yeah.
On the day, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good description. It's that's how I am. Like there's days I'll listen to thrash metal. There's days I'll listen to jazz. There's days I'll listen to blues. There's days when I listen to, hip hop, whatever my vibe is. I try not to listen to too much angry music. And Fridays is my happy day. Fridays is the day where I'll listen to Frank Sinatra. There was days when I used to Frank Sinatra and what's the name, because it's not my era of generation, but a lot of the music I listen to is not from my generation. It's from eras past, but the music holds up. Do you ever listen to Billie Holiday, or do you know who that is?
I do know who that is, and I have listened to it, but I cannot name any songs because I suck.
It's okay, but hers is an example of if you were sitting down and listen to some of her songs. They are very depressing and very dark, but they're so beautiful at the same time. It's like the contrast to how she sung. Like I'll give you an example. I think it's called it's something. I hate when Strange Fruit. Strange Fruit, the song.
Yes.
That song will make me cry. It's so rough because she's singing about a lynching.
I know. Oh, it got me too. The first time I heard it, I was on TikTok and I was like, "What the hell is this? Oh my God, this is so sad."
Yeah, and she would sing about spousal abuse.
Yeah.
But she was such a beautiful. Her voice was angelic. It was beautiful, and her lyrics is like, man, they cut so deep, and it's like I remember someone say, "Great day, are you listening to that? That's so depressing." I'm like, but it's so beautiful at the same time. It's one of those things where you look at an art form and a picture of art where the art is like, it's darkness, but it's beautiful at the same time. It's like showing you its pain, and I thought hers was amazing. There's Miles Davis, and there's Bird, and there's Duke Ellington, all that. Those songs was way, way, way before my time. Like I was even thought of. I think my mom probably wasn't even thought of when those songs came out. So but they still hold up. Like, what kind of hip hop do you like? Listen, you can name anyone. I don't care. I might know, I might not, but just name anyone you like. Jam it to.
I don't. It varies because I like a lot of the older stuff.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, good. Fine.
All right, I'm gonna name off some people, and then you say if you know them. Do you remember who Boogie Down Productions was, or I'll say Run DMC, or Beastie Boys and like that. Did you like listening to them?
Yes, like everyone. I listen to everything. I'm all over the place, I swear.
That's good, though.
Right now, I'm listening to Doja Cat and Lizzo.
Okay.
And Ashniko and just random ladies.
That's cool, though. It's all right, though. Yeah. What do you like? Let me see. Do you remember? I'm trying to think of another rapper. Do you remember Eric B. and Rakim? Did you remember them?
The names are familiar. I'm so bad with names.
It's all good, because I am too. It's don't feel bad. But if next time when you look up Eric B and Rakim, look up Boogie Down Productions with it's a shame. Just look at Boogie Down Productions. I'm trying to think of one. I know you know. Of course, we both know who Fresh Prince is. You know, Will Smith. That's a given one. Let's see. Trying to think. You say you like metal too?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge metal fan.
What's like the metal bands you listen to now? Just name anybody. You can say Metallica. Anybody, doesn't matter.
They're pretty much the same ones that I grew up listening to, but right now I'm kind of like wallowing in my own sadness listening to Linkin Park.
That's cool though. I mean, Linkin Park is an amazing group. Very underrated group, and it's one of the things that saddened me that he never got help. He never got help, and neither did the lead singer for Audioslave and Soundgarden. He never, and it was like back to back. It was so heartening that's why I don't like it when, like, you never know when someone's going through something, and you don't know what kind of pain or whatever struggles they went to. I don't know if it's a substance abuse. I don't know what he was going through, but that was a hard one to the stomach when he lost his life. I was like, oh man, why you? Why?
Yeah, I've been like a long time fan of Linkin Park. I grew up with them. Like I was even part of their fan club. Like
that's cool.
When he died, that was kind of like that sucked real bad.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, so I keep going. You can. I don't want to occupy the entire interview because I don't want to keep rambling. But yeah.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, but yeah. Man, Soundgarden was another one. He had the most amazing, powerful voice, and that's another person that we lost. That was like, man, just sucks. Like, of all people, and I'm not saying everyone, because I love Stone Temple Pilots. I love Scott Weiland. I think he's the most amazing singer, songwriter. I think he wrote his own songs. He had some old weird band he had, and then he had like the band he did with Slash and some people. I forget the name of that band. And whatever it was. He could never stay clean. And I was waiting for any time this dude's gonna die. Any time now, that guy is basically on borrowed time because he never recovered from heroin. He was always on heroin. Even when he was in the band with Slash, I'm like, any time now. And it sucked that he died, but he never, I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know this. I don't know what to deal with substance abuse. I'm not a person I can relate, but I know it's something that controls your life that you can't. It's hard to kick it unless you acknowledge the struggle you're going through.
That's exactly right, and the only thing that's going to help you is being aware and getting therapy. I've never really struggled with that. I've known people. I've lost people from it. But just being prescribed the prescriptions that, like, I recently had surgery, and they gave me hydros, and, like, I don't know anything about drugs, but if you take those, they make you feel, like, really, I don't know, like, I can see how you could get addicted.
Yeah.
Because it's not addicted to the drugs, it's addicted to the feeling that the drug gives you.
It's a high that is so unobtainable. It's like that first experience and that's like anything, and it's like a lot of people are addicted to it's not necessarily drugs, but everyone's addicted to some sort of rush of a feeling when you hit them high numbers and casinos. That rush of the feeling when you have that drink that numbs your body away. That feeling when you smoke a cigarette. That feeling when you gorge on food you shouldn't be eating. That rush of adrenaline. I got to have this again. I need this. And like drug substance abuse is like you need it. I need this. It's not like I want it. Like I'm gonna eat me a sandwich. I need 10 sandwiches now. I need 10 sandwiches. They get it for $1. I need 10 sandwiches. You need what? You need 10 sandwiches. You're gonna have a heart attack, dude. No, what? I'm good. I can start exercising tomorrow. I can quit tomorrow. I can quit drinking tomorrow. I can quit gambling. Well, quit today. What's wrong with today?
Yes, quit today.
Because it's like it's hard to do something if you don't acknowledge it. That's the thing with, like, if you're going through anything you're going through, whether it's insecurity, or it's going through depression, or it's going to whatever, you're in this black hole that you only see, and no one else can see it because a lot of people are going through whatever. But you have to, like, at first acknowledge that you're going through something, and then you need to go get help. And that's a hard thing to do. Admitting you need help, admitting that you are going to struggle, admitting that you're frustrated is hard because it's seen as weakness. And I'm gonna disclose this, and I feel like, and this may not be a thing that I don't know, and I feel like in a black community it's a thing, and I'm probably talking to my ass, and I might be 100% wrong, but I feel like, at least with me growing up, depression wasn't a thing in the black community. In my personal life, in growing up, I feel like depression wasn't a thing. No one acknowledged it. No one ever got help. And this is not a knock on the church. I'm not dissing, you going, you praising God. And I think it's very important that you love God. But even in the church, they didn't acknowledge depression.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a self-righteous, I'm up on a high horse or something like that, but it's not meant to be. And I think that's the reason why my mom suffered from depression for so long, is because I don't know if they didn't know how to diagnose it. They didn't feel like it was a real thing. You didn't know how to talk to a doctor or someone to talk to. And
you didn't have any resources.
Exactly. And and like my uncle had passed away not too long ago. And it was the most devastating because we didn't even know he was sick. And luckily, this is a blessing. Luckily, when this happened, there was a counselor the day before. I don't know who he was. I don't know. He was a psychiatrist, counselor, psychiatrist, whatever. He told my aunt and my grandma, the people who were at the house, the people who found out, because I was at home with my girlfriend, and my brother had texted me, and then my mom had told me. And I was like, it was just a punch in the heart, because I didn't know he was sick, and I found out this horrific stuff later. But it doesn't make any difference. Even if I did know, it's not going to change anything. But the doctor said, scream. That's what he told them to do. Just scream. Just that, because you can't do anything else. Yeah. And it was, oh my God. It's like, I got there and we were done. Everyone was done. My grandma was done, and she just held my hand and said, please don't leave me. But she was in distraught, and I just burst into tears because I didn't know what I was saying, but I was like, it was one of those things. So that's the thing, in the black community, we don't, and even men, I'll even say this, men are not allowed to cry. It's seen as a weakness, but to be honest, it's more of a weakness not to cry.
Yeah, it is. It's an extreme weakness. You guys need to deal with your problems.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like mental health for men needs awareness. You guys really need to get help. Like, you guys have higher rates of suicide.
Oh yeah.
Like, these are statistics. Like, you can look up. That men are less likely to ask for help. It needs to be addressed for real.
Yes, I agree. It's one of those things because growing up, I'll be honest, I'm still weirded out when I don't like dudes to cry around me, and I know it's a sign of weakness. It's silly. I don't like to cry around other guys, and I'll be weirded out if a guy was to start crying. But I know that's a sign of weakness because we equate it to being feminine. You're fruity if you cry. But anger is okay. You can be I'm angry. I'm gonna tear things. That's okay. Being angry.
That's a double standard too. Yeah. Because. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's acceptable. Which is goofy as hell.
Yeah. And then in the reverse, like if a female is angry.
Yeah.
Like if women get angry, we're treated like we're just so aggressive when we're just existing. Like I can't go through a single day without someone telling me to smile.
Yeah, it's condescending. I didn't know that. I didn't realize how condescending or dickish it sounds because women were seen as someone like, they'll go in the bathroom and cry, and they're, it's so emotional. You're so emotional all the time. Why are y'all crying so much? What is wrong with you? And like at the same time, it's like, good God, dude, grow a set, man. What you crying for? Stop being a bitch. What's wrong with you? But if a woman is like, I got something to say. All right, now calm down, Missy. You don't need all that attitude. But it's okay to man to go full on Super Saiyan psycho on someone. It's like, what? Because anger is like a thing that men is equate of toughness, and it's more of a sign of weakness. Because, and most times, like, I mean, it's not saying you get angry, but the fly off the handle all the time, it's like, it's more because you're always frustrated. Whatever made you angry, because you're dealing with something and you don't know how to like express it. And men are never taught to be emotional. It's never taught to feel like, it's okay to cry. And like, and I don't think men has ever been told it's okay to cry, because crying is like, for men is a weakness, and and anger for women, it seemed like, you're weak, and you're too emotional.
Well, we're told that we're crazy, and
Yeah,
that we
that's
need
it.
to be like committed to a mental institution for having feelings. And the same with men. Like, if you guys cry, it's like a huge thing, because it's rare that you would see a man cry in public because of the fear of being told that they're weak.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like on YouTube, I think it's called the tropes. It's like female tropes and men tropes, and it's like a thing. And it's like I forget. I don't know what. Like, I don't know, it's mojo.com who does it. I don't remember. If you find it, it's really interesting. It's a really interesting thing. And they talk about the female tropes as like the crazy woman, the woman trope in movies where women, the hysterical thing, you're being hysterical. Those things in movies, which I never noticed, were very, I don't know what the word is. It's disrespectful. I don't know what it is. It's something that they would show what made them look bad, and they never explained why the person was acting the way they were. It was seen as something as like a weakness or something like that. And those movies, here's one example. The movie. Do you remember the movie Fatal Attraction?
Oh, vaguely, I've seen so many movies.
Okay, Fatal Attraction. This was back in the early '90s. The Fatal Attraction. I think the movie Disclosure is one. I think some silly ass movie, and maybe like Basic Instinct. Okay, when Fatal Attraction is with Michael Douglas, and I can't think the female actress's name. Well, Michael Douglas is cheating on his wife with this manic woman in the movie, and the woman becomes obsessed, and then she tries to kill him, whatever, and all this kind of wild stuff. But they never, in the movie, it's all on the woman. It's all the woman. And I know woman, she's like, having sex with a married man. But they never accuse the man of foulness, of, leading her on or whatever he was doing. It was all on her. And even though this movie's a suspense movie, if you look at it now, you say, wow, that, as much as she's crazy, the guy's a gigantic dick. And even though he probably didn't deserve the things he got, but some of the stuff he deserved, he just deserved to get his ass whooped.
Right.
Yeah, and that was one of the female tropes in the movie. Or here's he was even a better one that I never noticed, and they broke it down. It's one where it's the girl next door. Do you ever heard that phrase before?
Yes.
It's like the girl who is the guy's perception of the perfect girl. She likes comic books. She likes what I like, but she's a super hot model, and she's out for me. And it's always the nerdy guy, and that trope is a thing that doesn't. It's not a real thing in real life,
No, I think that like often women are just seen as objects to be possessed and owned, and that's just not the case, and times need to change.
They will, hopefully.
I'm still dealing with, like, harassment.
That sucks.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, it's just frustrating.
It sucks. I don't think because here's the thing. Even though we have the Me Too, and I think the Me Too is very important, and I'm not trying to denigrate the Me Too movement, even though the upper class, the more upper people who have more power, who be able to change things, and these for them, and the Me Too movement was supposed to be for people in working class jobs who always getting harassed by people who get too comfortable saying stuff they shouldn't say to people, and then they putting their hands on people. Because I know a lot of people have told me stories, and I'm willfully ignorant, stupid, and I know I've seen it, but I've never been experienced. I've never been sexually harassed, and I think it's because I have that male privilege that I never have to deal with what women deal with, and it's. And I'm going to say that I'm unbelievably stupid to think that this doesn't exist. But I've heard stories that were horrific stories about that. And I'm hoping it will change. And if it does, it needs to change.
Yeah, I've worked with the public for years. Like, I still work a regular full-time job on top of doing the music thing. But the amount of bullshit that I've seen and how people treat other people, it's enough to make you have depression.
Yeah, it sucks. Some people need to call out. And I used to work at Kroger's, and that's I don't know if it's the first time I experienced it, and not experienced. I saw it. I don't remember the first time I saw it, but this one stood out, and it was a story that was told to me. So technically, I didn't really experience, but I told the story. But I believe the story is real. It was an older man. He had blonde hair, but he wasn't a white dude. He had dyed his hair, and he was like this pervert dude who would come in the store and would be very, I don't know what the word. I can't think of the word. Pushy. I don't know what the word. It's more than pushy. I just can't think of the word what you would say to describe this gross dude. But
just gross.
Yeah, and he would come up to the pharmacist girl. Pharmacist girl, she's a very beautiful, young, nice lady. She was, she was never really loud. She never seemed any crazy. But I heard the story that the dude was like getting too close, and she said, "Get the fuck away from me." And I remember someone saying, "Well, that's a lot." It's like, no. Sometimes you need to say that to people. Sometimes some people need to come to Jesus. Well, I will call this a come to Jesus conversation. You didn't hear me the first time when I said I'm not interested. You didn't hear me the second time I feel uncomfortable. You didn't hear me the third time say, look, what is this going? You need to hear, get the fuck away from me. I bet you heard me that time, didn't you?
I have to say that to people a lot. Like, I cannot stand, like, being pursued or...
Yeah.
I'm so old.
It's okay.
I don't have time for any of that anymore.
No, because it sucks, and it's like, and it's not fair to you. But some people, and I don't know, here it is. There's friendliness, there's playfulness, there's people like with guys. If a girl is, I shouldn't say girl. If a woman is friendly, they automatically think they're in it. And that means that they're offering some booty. They're offering some sexual whatever. And sometimes people are just friendly. Some people are just playing around. Some people are just talking trash. But sometimes people will misinterpret it. And sometimes you need to tell them, in no circumstance does it happen. Because I'll disclose it like, I'm like an average looking dude. I'm not, no model. I'm not I don't need my feelings hurt. And I don't want to make any assumptions because someone's being friendly to me that it means that they're, advancing. Because I don't want to, be arrogant of the things like, oh, she's trying to talk to me. No, she's not trying to talk to you, dude. She's being nice. To take it as being nice and let it go. Because, I had this conversation yesterday. And I'm not going to say the people's name because there's a friend of mine. They're pretty cool and I like them. But this person needed to come to Jesus conversation. They needed, and they're probably going to get it at some point. And we're sitting there, we're talking, and like this other person, the person was like being appropriate to. So like, you need to talk to your man now, because he's gonna get fired. It's like, because he got too comfortable. He thinks he's debonair, Don Juan, good looking man. This she's hot to try to talk to me. No, she's being nice, dude. She's being nice to you. Don't get it twisted.
Especially if she is getting paid, like if she's on a job, like she is there paid to be nice to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not a strip club, and they getting paid to be nice to you. I think it's because it was never addressed. I think for so many years, I think we're still, we have a lot to go. That's why racism is a thing. That's why sexism. And I don't know if you feel about homophobia. I don't like saying homophobia, but it's because those things exist. It's because they've never been addressed. Like, because people have their way of thinking. They have their backwards way of thinking, and they've been thinking this way for so many years. In the workplace for so many years, you can literally walk up to a woman. I would like that tight skirt you get on today, and look mighty good. And I felt some type of way when I saw you coming in that way. Why would that be okay to say to your coworker? How are we supposed to feel about that?
Yeah, I try to tell people, like, especially if you're a man, if you're not going to say the same thing to a man that you would say to a woman in the workplace, just don't say it. No. Like, if you're not going to tell your buddy that he has a beautiful smile, don't say it to a lady.
No, because no one would say that. No one's going to actually talk to a woman the same way talk to a man, because I think that they are not, and this sounds bad, I don't know how to say this, because most men are not really threatened. They don't feel threatened. And if you don't feel threatened, you're not going to have the same sort of, confrontational you'll have another man. Because no man, you wouldn't say to a larger man than you, say, talk what you would talk to a woman who's smaller than you. And that's why some people need to come to Jesus. They need that come to Jesus conversation.
Yeah. I was working in a convenience store, and my buddy, he's trans, and I do support the LGBTQIA community.
Yeah.
As I am a part of it as well. But he's a larger guy. Well, he's a woman now. So she is his pronoun.
Yeah, it's all good.
Anyway, at the time, she was presenting as a man.
Yeah.
So this customer came in, and he was just very aggressive toward me and giving me orders, basically. So I leave to go get his stuff, whatever he needed. I think it was a carton of cigarettes. I come back, and my buddy is standing there, and he is being so respectful. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I see how it is. This is disrespectful, because there's no respect for women.
No. It's not.
And there's no care for men, and their mental health. No,
exactly. It isn't. If you the only time if you're a fear of an ass whooping, I think that's what it is. I think is also and it sounds bad. And I don't mean to sound it the way it sounds, but I think is a lot of people who have never been punched in the face are more boisterous than people who have. If you've never been in any real confrontation, that's why people talk crazy, and that's why people, sadly, some people get killed in the process, and that sucks. And I don't want people to die. I don't want people to go into intensive care. I don't want people to be paralyzed. But some people need their ass whooped, not beaten to a pulp to where you're mentally incapacitated to feed yourself. But if some people got punched in the face real hard or get called out, get their feelings hurt, they will realize you're not as attractive as you think you are. You're not as tough as you think you are. You're not whatever your perception you think you are, you're not. Because you hadn't met the right dude. Or better yet, you ain't met the right woman who tell you, look, playboy, you look like Flavor Flav, you smell like ass. I do not want to talk to you. I'm selling you your pack of Swiss malt liquor, whatever beer you drink Drink your beer in the parking lot and leave me alone. I do not want to climb on top of you.
Yeah. I think that, like, I have anger issues, so I will blatantly, like, go off on people.
Mm-hmm.
I really need to work on that.
It's all good.
It's just therapy. Like, we all need, like, therapy needs to be mandatory, I think.
It should be.
And there needs to be more resources for it because we're all dealing with shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in this past year.
Oh, yes, bad.
It's just a shit fest, and therapy should be treated like it's a crisis.
Yeah.
As well as racism and homophobia and transphobia. Like, it's a crisis, and they need to be addressed. All of it.
Most definitely. And it's like, and yeah, you're right. And because in this time era right now, everything got shut down. A lot of people lost their job. A lot of people are struggling to pay bills. A lot of people who can't afford to be off. I mean, it was a wake-up call that a lot of things we went through should have never happened. It should never get to this point because we're too comfortable. I think, and it's not some anti-American thing. I don't mean it the way it sounds. It's going to sound like some self-righteous goofiness. It is not intended to be. But I think in this country, I think a lot of us we never anticipate when it hits a fan. We always in this bubble of world, because you go to work, you work 8 hours a day, you're trying to pay your bills, you're trying to feed your family, and you live in these big cities where you think it'll never shut down. You think that the city is such perfect, like New York is such a big place, and LA is such a big, gigantic, conglomerate place where you think that nothing will ever touch it. There's no way this will ever shut down. And then when the big cooties outbreak hits and like you got to shut down and kids can't go to school anymore and people can't work and restaurants shut down and hair salons and all these shut down. And then it's like, not only you're dealing with, ailments, you're also dealing with onset depression because people have a lot of time on their hands that, it's like, where am my next meal going to happen? Where I'm going to live? Or like, how am I going to pay my kids, medical bills? How am I going to pay medical bills? How am I going to feed myself?
Yeah, it's a lot.
That takes suicide. That's a byproduct of people saying, I cannot do this anymore. I can't.
Yeah.
And that sucks. It sucks so much. That's all I can say. It sucks.
Not to mention, like, when you're dealing with such like a pandemic. Because it's a virus, right? And it kills people.
Yeah.
Like the loss, just the loss.
Yes.
Like, I lost my sister in November of 2020.
I'm sorry, it sucks.
Yeah. It's a real virus, and I think that people just need to be a lot more respectful.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, this I think this is the worst thing that's happened to us in a long time, and we had some very, very horrific things happen in our country. There's horrific things happen over the 100 years or 200 years, and I think some things are so far back and so far removed that we don't even remember how horrific they were. But I guarantee you, the people who went through them went through some horrific things because some things needed to change. That's why it's a slow thing to start, Black Lives Matter. That's the thing that needed people to realize that things happen. And I know people say that Black Lives Matter is like some political whatever nonsense or whatever. But that's how people would say it. They would say it. And I'm like, you can say what you want to say, but Black Lives, when there's so many incidents of police brutality, there's so many incidents where people were killed in the most ridiculous ways, where things were escalated to inappropriate levels, when people were shot in their homes, or people had, their knee on top of them screaming for their mom, or someone who was walking around in some abandoned building just looking, and some off-duty cops who didn't arraign them, who didn't show their badge, who shot them. And I'm like, those things happen now.
Yes.
that's now. This is not like 1930s, Jim Crow law. This is not segregation. This is not Reconstruction. This is not end of slavery. This is happening now. And someone says, hey, by the way, Black lives matter, everybody. No, all lives matter. I'm like, no, go fuck yourself. No, seriously, go fuck yourself. Fuck you and your matter. Your lives don't matter. Your life doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't like. Yeah, but I don't like this. I don't like to go on a tent because it's irritating because it's very condescending. And it's like, when they say all blue lives matter. So are you saying that? What about the black cops there who were shot? Is their badge more important than their life? Is what you're saying? Because it sounds like it's what you're saying. What about the what's the name? The EMT people who might get mistaken for thugs or whatever logic if someone makes a mistake. I guess that their lives don't matter either. It's like it's all horseshit. I know. And sorry to get off off my soapbox. I'm staying off my soapbox.
No, I am enjoying this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm surrounded by idiots.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. Blue lives do not exist. It's just a uniform. Shut up. You can change your clothes. You can't change the color of your skin.
No.
Just like you can't change your feelings. If you're gay or
yeah,
transsexual, whatever you are.
Yes.
You can't change how you feel, how your body feels.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't change the color of your skin, so people can just fuck off.
Yeah. It's something that eventually has to happen, but I feel like these issues, other than I think the gay community, I think it was an issue. That something is starting to slowly come into the conversation, even though that was a thing for so many long that people didn't acknowledge what it was. It at one time was disorder, and even racism was a thing since forever, forever. But that took a long time. It's I'm not even talking about other countries. I'm talking about just America. We went from slavery, that's 400 years. We went from that to Reconstruction, to Jim Crow, to segregation. And keep in mind, segregation wasn't that long ago. I'm 46. I'll be 47. And segregation was 1965. I was born in 1974. That was 9 years ago. So that means in that time frame, do you honestly believe that people were actually willing to change in 9 years? That's 9 years. That's over 500 years, probably longer than that, where people's willfully ignorant, hateful way of viewing who didn't see Black people as human beings. I'm not even saying as even citizens. I'm not even saying as equal rights. I'm not even saying as a person that you would consider your brothers and whatever, sisters or whatever. I'm talking about they didn't even see them as human beings.
Yeah. And
that was over 100 years ago. When people say, that's a long time ago. No, it's not. 100 years ago, if you took two people and they're 60 years old, it's 120 years ago. That's 60 years old. That's people 60 to 80. That means your great-grandfather or my great-grandfather or my grandfather knew it. They experienced it. Not that long ago. But I think it makes people uncomfortable. They're not willing to admit that we need to change.
Yes. I think it's just especially with white people, I'm white.
It's all good.
But they're scared or so fragile. Just why are you so fragile?
Yeah.
Shut up. It's annoying.
I understand. But, I got you. I feel you though.
But yeah, the years of racism and slavery is ridiculous. It should not have taken that long. The Black community has had to fight for it. It's just exhausting. I don't know how you deal with it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I can say that in my experience, I've only had a few incidents. Some people it's way worse. So I can say that luckily I've never really experienced so horrific. And I can tell you stories that were they could have been worse. And I'm grateful it wasn't. And I'm going to tell you one story. The one story was really scary and it could have been worse. And I'm glad it didn't. So I'm glad I was out of it. But it was when I used to work at Kroger's. And it's for some reason they had us come at 12 o'clock in the morning instead of 10. We could have got a little bit off earlier. So I'm walking to work, and it's 12 o'clock at night. I'm trying to wake myself up. So I had a black hoodie on, black jeans, and I had my face mask, which I guess you couldn't wear in Virginia. I found out the hard way. And I'm walking down the street, and I see a light, and I'm thinking it's like high beams on someone's car or something. And I had my headphones playing, and like I turn around, and a cop had his hand on his gun, and I'm like scared to death. And he said, "Hey man, do you hear me calling you?" I said, No, I didn't." And then I turn around, and another guy came around. I was like, "Hey man," he didn't hear us yelling at him, and it was like, he said, "Yeah man, you're not supposed to wear a mask in Virginia. It's against the law at the time. I mean, it's not against the law now, but you need it because of the cootie disease. But like at the time, it was illegal to have your face covered."
Oh my gosh.
And you talking about something? My heart was beating out his chest. I was like, I was smoking a pack of cigarettes walking down the road, and I was scared to death. And I'm saying like, it could have been worse. And I'm not talking shit about the cops. And I know they have a shitty job, and some people are gigantic assholes, and I know that.
Oh,
but that could have got.
They need some therapy.
Yeah, and some people shouldn't be cops, and I'm gonna say it, some people are not built to be cops. But in that situation, I could have not been on here. I could not have been talking to you. You would never know me. I would have been a statistic, because if I said anything crazy, I'm already looked as a thug. I'm always looked as a threat. I may have a weapon. I may not have a weapon. Don't know. If I say anything, yo man, what the fuck you fucking with me for? Oh, pop, pop, pop. That's what I'm fucking with you. That could have been that. If I said anything crazy, if I was combative, if I said anything crazy, pop, pop, pop. Because, and it's not fair. It sucks to be a cop. And some people, I'm sorry, you can't be. I'm going to say it. You ain't get the balls for it. I'm sorry.
They need, like, supervision. And they need, like, somebody to basically hold their hands. If you're going to be working with the public, and they should not even have guns.
Yeah. When you're a police officer, you need to be better than everyone around you. You need to have communication skills. You need to de-escalate anything. And the thing that I take jiu-jitsu, and me and this other dude who's actually, I think he's in the military, and we talked about this, and he told me this story, and this submits everything about what I say about some people be cops. And he's told about a situation where it was him and his two other guys, and I'm not gonna tell anyone's names. I didn't know it, but they were subduing a guy, and the guy flipped out. The one that was scared tased the dude, and the other dudes had him under control. That's why people need to learn jiu-jitsu. Knows how to subdue a guy without hurting him, calm him down. You know how to talk the situation down, because you don't know the person is scared to death. You don't know why he's scared. You don't know why he's escalated. You don't know if he's on something. Maybe he's not be on something. But sometimes you need to, when you're talking in a situation, I know the job sucks. You deal with a lot of dickheads. You deal with a lot of drunks and psychopaths, hops on coke or speed or whatever. It sucks. But you need to be better.
It's the worst form of customer service.
Yeah, you need to be better. I don't want to I want to hear that no more. Be better than me. If I'm acting crazy, look, man, calm down. I will subdue you. I'm telling you, you need to calm down and tell me what's going on. What's happening? Yeah. But like a lot of people who get out the police force, a lot of people are young, a lot of people have never been in confrontation, a lot of people have never been in a fight before. And they tell you little nonsense ways to take down people. They tell you they don't not in the police force long enough. They don't have the communication skills, the understanding to do so, to do this job. And you're basically feel like you're in a war zone. Your job sucks. It's all the time. You feel like if you're on DEFCON 9 every day, you don't need to be a cop.
Yeah.
You need to find something else to do, because it's not that serious. And I know it sucks. And I'm gonna keep saying this. The job sucks. But hey, guess what? You signed up for it. You decided to be a cop. You decided that was the job you're going to do. I don't really give two shits if you are always scared. Guess what? We're always scared. We shouldn't be scared. We should not be scared of you. You shouldn't be scared of us either. calm your crazy ass down. I don't want to get shot because you thinking that I'm a dark-skinned man who's walking down the road who's smoking a cigarette, and you think I got a 9mm in my pocket because I'm reaching for my cell phone. Calm your crazy ass down. It's not that serious. Talk. Hey man, where you going? Hey man, everything okay? I'm sorry to bother you. I don't mean to bother you. Look, man, I mean, there's some in the area. Please don't take an offense. Oh, it's cool, man. I know everything's all good. But if I'm in my car with my kids, and your initial reaction is to unload 9 shots in my chest because I'm reaching for my registration, you don't need to be a cop.
Mm-hmm.
You need not to be a cop. I'm sorry, you don't need to be a cop. Some people ain't built for that.
They go into this, like, they start when they're young, right? They go into this institution that is already racist. Like, this institution was built to, like, police black communities.
It was.
So they're going into this institution that's, like, they're being brainwashed to, like, I wouldn't say brainwashed. Like, some people are just racist and idiots. But, like, there's no restrictions and control and accountability, and there needs to be.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Wow. We realized I apologize. I didn't even ask you a whole lot about music. I realized I started music, and I realized I feel like I've gotten better with not veering off. But I don't feel bad because at least I didn't skewer the conversation. I was really bad about that in the beginning. I'm so excited. I was like, what kind of movie should I like to watch? And I'm not asking. The point of asking a lot of questions, I wanted to like understand music, but I appreciate the conversation. I like the fact that I like your viewpoint. I like the fact, and you're a pretty cool person, and I like that you were nice enough to open up and tell me you're dealing with depression and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate everything you said. I think is pretty cool. I think I love your music. You have a beautiful voice, and I love the fact that you were nice enough on this day to allow me to interview you, and before I go, do you have any aspirations? Do you have what is your goals in music? Is your if you have any future goals?
Well, I really just want to get my ass back to working on my music. I wish I had more time.
Yeah, I understand.
To work on that and didn't have to work a full-time job, but we're all struggling, so.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Do you want to give it a shout out? I'm gonna try to make sure. I'm not good at always promoting stuff on there, but I'm gonna try. I do want to promote this one. I'm at least gonna put it on Facebook and Twitter and on Instagram. I'm gonna make it like that. So
thanks.
Do you have any photos? I'm gonna give you a shout on. I'm gonna let you know ahead of time. I'm gonna do that. But do you have just send me any photo you have, just a basic photo. I'm gonna give you a shout out. But do you have any anything else you want to add or anything like that?
My music is on Spotify. You can find me S31RYN.
That's all right. I like to have you back again, whenever you're available, and this is a fun conversation. I like this conversation. So I really enjoy you taking the time out and talking to me. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you soon in some point.
I agree.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right. See you. Bye.
Bye.
That was Jessie Wilcox, and she was an amazing young lady. I actually don't know how she was, but I'm going to say young lady anyway. And she was nice enough to let me interview her, and I'm literally going to post this one out this time, and I didn't that good at posting the other ones out, but this will be posted out. And this is a straight up real talk, and I enjoy this, and anytime, I'm going to sign out. I don't have any catchphrase. I can't think of anything, so I'm signing out with the my zombie sound effects.